Breaking news, Nigerians. Finally, it's happening. This is the North versus the Southwest. The Northerners are now hitting the Southwesterners. They say Tinubu na bad guy. Oh, Nnamdi Kanu, we are sorry. In fact, I don't want to talk too much. Let me drop this video so that you go see wetin dey happen. See, this God, e no dey sleep. This God, e no dey sleep. You don't fight Biafrans and go for free. So let's get there. I will be right back.
Of his deputy. We are proud of his vice president.
The APC National Vice. Yoruba nation that I know, they are professional betrayer. The Yoruba nation that I know, we specialize in pulling ourselves down. The Yoruba nation that I know, we want to make sure that the shy do not survive.
You see, I feel highly entertained by Tinubu's rhetorics, the way he's dramatizing his own role, in Nigerian democracy. Luckily, we're all alive. He's gone. Luckily, we're all alive. We're all there. We're all, participant in that particular, sphere of political activity. So I was in the midst of it. Tinubu became relevant and noticeable after Abacha took over government. Before then, he was in the Senate, was the secretary of the party. And with all respect to him, you see, he was part of those people who were supporting Babangida's annulment of June 12th. He was part of it. His own mother, Haja Mogaji from Lagos, was organizing Lagos marching women to come to Abuja to pledge, support for Babangida. I'm away. He was not in the country. He only came back after the whole thing was, after the call was very, very clear. So what I'm saying is, all those advocates of June 12, they are more concerned with the bath water rather than the baby. They are more concerned because most of them were at the end of the meal when the product was being processed. They simply picked up the product. The process which produced the product, they are not there. They're not part of it. They only pick the product. And today it's not about the victor, but it's about the victory more than anything else. So we make this kind of distinction. The difference between the victory and the victor. The Nadeko were more concerned with the victory than the victor. As far as they are concerned, in the bathwater they are trying to use, they are trying to hang on to their own kind of riding on top to reinvent, history in Nigeria. Otherwise, I feel embarrassed for the president, for the way he's talking, honestly. Ask anybody. Go ask anybody. We're all there. Ask Ayu, ask Gerigana. They are all there. Ask Langiwa. So, what is happening today in Nigeria is simply something very, very laughable. People, who had no political pedigree, who had no political history, who are not known as freedom fighters, are now at the forefront fighting for Nigerian democracy. It's so laughable.
Remember, so Tinubu was also involved in democratic process. Not only that he supported it, he involved. He was a senator that time. Not if I'm correct, he was a senator at that period. So he was a strong actor that time. So I don't see any traces of Tinubu or any reason for Tinubu to support the annulment of June 12th. Because annulment of June 12th brought end to that democratic process, with Tinubu himself involved. So how do you think Tinubu to shoot himself in the leg? How do you think Tinubu will want to stop something that he has passion for almost all his life? Of course, yes, it is true that IBB and Tinubu, they are very close. And that story is so fierce. We were told how Tinubu's mother, Mogaji, make Tinubu to be very close to IBB. IBB also wanted the process to go. That's why he started from councillorship, start to the chairman, to honorable, House of Assembly in the state, to the governor, to the senator. Along the line, there are some power or something that came that make them to annul, the June 12th. So, from the body language, from the senior road that I just said, that Tinubu himself involved in it. How do you think? It's like you are a president and you are a senator in a particular regime, or you are a president, or you are a governor in a particular regime. Then you are now inviting military to take over. Then you are killing yourself. So, to me, to the best of my knowledge, It doesn't logically, I don't see any reason for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to support, the annulment of June 12th. Now, let's go to Lamido. Lamido is a Fulani man. It is their style, divide and rule, to create rancor, to sow the seed of discord. They have been doing it for a very long time. Since the day of Awolowo and Akitola, they have known how to scatter Yoruba. This is another bomb. Try to scatter Yoruba, try to poison Yoruba, try to make sure that Yoruba, they instigate Yoruba nation against Tinubu.
So it's well orchestrated.
It's well orchestrated. It's a well calculated message. This is not the first time we have been hearing it. They'll say, it is Yoruba that are behind how the June 12th was being annulled. After, do you know what they usually do? They will want to commit an atrocity, heinous crime. Now they will look for somebody from your side. They will lure them in. So they will be the one that will actualize that thing, so that you will not be able to put blame on them. But on this one, they don't find enough people to gather so that they will put blame on them, and that's why they are looking for another Asiwaju to put blame on him. Everybody know what Asiwaju did after the annulment of June 12th election. He couldn't stay in this country. He ran away.
Well, it's not that even the Asiwaju himself was one of the pioneers of Nadeko. Of course, that was a body that was actually fighting to restore democracy and to see if Abiola could get by his mandate.
So it surprised me. That's what I'm saying. It not surprised me when, if Lamido think that we are fool or we are so gullible like that. No. You can say anything about Tinubu. You see this one, I will not agree with you. You can say Tinubu is a criminal. You can say Tinubu is a thief. You can say Tinubu don't know how to govern well. You can say Tinubu does know how to gather money from people and do nothing. All that one, I have no problem. But on this one you are saying, logically, there is no point to buttress it, because from where I started from, that Tinubu himself involved in it. So Tinubu fought after the annulment. So these two things to put together does not show that Tinubu will support the annulment. Even after Tinubu now have power, access to the corridor of power, he now makes sure that he pursue June 12th to the point of being recognized, and Abiola being recognized. It was the body language of Tinubu that made Buhari to recognize Abiola, give him his deserved, honor. It was also part of body language of Tinubu. And Tinubu was one of the first governors that started observing June 12th in the Southwest. So all these things put together tell us that there is no element of truth in what Sule Lamido is saying. He's just bringing another missile to scatter Yoruba, to instigate Yoruba nation against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We expect another weapon, not this one. This one is not working.
Okay, let me.
So a lot of Yoruba don't want to agree with the Northerners that Bola Ahmed Tinubu have a hand in distracting or killing of Abiola June 12th mandate. Anyway, but how does that now trigger the North asking for Igbo forgiveness that Obi will be president, or Nigeria breaks up? Why is it the North want to beg Nnamdi Kanu now?
Yeah, they have to beg Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has gone beyond any man's imagination, especially the British and here in Nigeria. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has break every odds. You can see what the kind of pressure that is coming from the international body regarding his kidnapping or arrest or the trial in the court. You can see today that Nigerian government has finally surrendered in the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, because he said the truth, and what he was fighting for was pure according to the law. So they have to apologize to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, because they really go against him and against his fundamental rights.
Many Nigerians know that you are an ardent supporter of Peter Obi's presidential bid, and questions are being asked. Peter Obi seems to have taken Nigerians by storm, so to speak, and the questions being raised is that will Peter Obi's presidential candidate has what it takes to defeat the behemoth of an APC and PDP, considering the fact that these have formidable forces to be reckoned with, and they come from strongholds. How do you see Peter Obi really fighting this battle?
You know, every time I've been asked this question, because it has come in different guises, I've been intrigued, mainly because I think it's a misunderstanding of the battle terrain in the 2023 election to ask that question that way. This is not about Peter Obi. The truth of the matter is that the Peter Obi presidential bid is really not about Peter Obi. Peter Obi himself cannot come out and tell people that he's not running again. He can't withdraw from this race. It's not about Peter Obi. Peter Obi is merely the totem. A people have sat back for a long season, been held down, knocked back every time they've attempted to get up. A lot of them walked away from the process and became disconnected from that process, disavowed any involvement with this. They walked away. But you see, I keep talking about 2023 as an inflection point. And what does that mean? It simply means that several issues, seemingly unrelated, that had lingered for a long time, have culminated in this moment. Why is it that it is at that point when we were all demanding, I was demanding at least for the last 2-3 years, that the next president should be of Igbo extraction? Why is it at that time that somebody like Peter Obi emerged as a candidate? Because if it was somebody like Oji Uzor Kalu that had emerged, I certainly would not be banging the drum of Igbo candidacy. It's not going to happen. But a man who is eminently qualified and happens to be of Igbo stock is out there contesting. So that's one. A lot of people are queuing up behind that singular issue. That's one. And then NSAS is unfortunate, but the reality is that the Nigerian attempted to assert citizenship during the NSAS protest. And the state violently clamped down on that attempt. And the system, thankfully, was denuded. So the people could see it for the evil that it truly is. And the people who were the victims, those who attempted to protest, their anger was still simmering. But anger without action is nothing, is impotence. So in the immediate aftermath of NSAS, some of us went out there and we were begging people, go and register to vote. There were several people, church organizations, mosque organizations, civil rights organizations, all sorts of people were actively working to ask people to register to vote. So, in the midst of all of this, there was no Peter Obi. There are several other things going on. The Muslim ticket, for instance, was another galvanizing factor. So there are some people whose sole interest is, I'm not going to vote this Muslim ticket. So you have myriads of interests that have coalesced together at the same time to create an inflection point. Peter Obi is merely the beneficiary of a moment in time that he himself, this is where I talk about preparation and opportunity. People talk about luck. There is nothing called luck. I'm not saying that there aren't happenstance, but I'm saying that there must be a coincidence of preparation and opportunity. If you are not prepared, the opportunity will come and it will go because you were not prepared. If Peter Obi had not built up the goodwill he built up by his deeds in Anambra, he would not be able to stand. I would not be able to speak for him. Because at that point, it would now be a political thing that I will be doing. But I can speak for him because he has a record that speaks for him. People would have exceptions here and there. It's up to them to bring their exceptions. It's a marketplace of ideas. That's what politics is. bring your ideas, put it in the marketplace, and then tell me what it is that you can point at that you will say makes him compare less favorably with either a Emilokon or Etiku. The reality of the matter is that the people in the race, none of them, none, compares to him in terms of record in public office and in the private sector. They might have issues here and there. Anybody can say what they care to say. But the reality is that as far as public service is concerned in the space called Nigeria in this 2023 election, there is no compare to Peter Obi in terms of record or in terms of visioning.
All right, guys, thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. So please kindly drop your comments below the comment section. Share this video, make it go viral, because it don't set with this. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye for now.